How can you maintain your influence as a speaker in an ever-changing world of digital tools? Are we all going to start sounding the same? I hope not. Here to unpack this is Kate O'Neill. She is next up at Connecticut's NSA Empowerment Meeting. She is the author of several books, and she's also known as the tech humanist. And Kate joins us now to talk about the power of making human-friendly tech decisions in our world. Kate, you say that it's moving fast, right?
I say that because my clients and audiences say that. Yeah, I think everyone feels it. And thank you, Pat, for having this conversation with me. And I'm so looking forward to meeting and talking with our Connecticut colleagues there at NSA.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to having you. So, it occurs to me sometimes because the world is moving so fast, there's always a new tool, there's always new technology to consider. Do you sometimes wish you had like a stop button, like, let's just slow this thing down? Because sometimes tech can get in the way of right, being creative or making us all sound like we're the same. How does it interfere with us as humans, incorporating technology and being a speaker?
Yeah, I think for me personally, the pause button or the stop button is not a feeling that I often get, but I feel it from the people I speak with that's a constant strain. Like it just feels like there's too much coming at us all the time. Social media is nonstop. We're constantly getting this inundated, messages from everywhere, and the tools just keep changing. So just as speakers, I think especially we feel like we're constantly our topics are at risk of becoming irrelevant all the time. And then when the tools change around us and the sort of technological landscape changes around us, then we feel like we need to reposition ourselves as, we were creativity experts and now we're creativity and AI experts or whatever. But I think it's more important that we're really thinking about how to rethink our topic and our expertise in this holistic, sort of whole world, like what it means to be an expert in creativity, to follow that example, given the changes that are happening around us. That you don't have to be an AI expert in your field. You just have to really understand how these different changes around you are changing the need for the creativity to be part of the mix and how you can really lean into that. So we'll talk a lot about those kinds of considerations, looking at the world as a whole and how things have changed in that landscape. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the actual technologies and tools themselves so that you do feel more confident with those tools and can use them as you need to.
Yeah, that sounds really very useful because I think that, now we're so used to having data and we're so used to, oh, analytics. Oh, look at how many views I had. Look at how many likes I had.
Yeah.
See that this post. And it's like your head can get very confused very quickly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like to point out, I've been saying for years, honestly, for probably about 20 years, I've been saying this phrase. It's one of my catchphrases. Analytics are people. It's when you look at data, it's very easy to forget. If you're looking at a pie chart or a line chart or something, it's very easy to forget that most often what you're looking at is something that represents the needs and interests and preferences and desires of real people who are trying to signal what it is they need and what they want from you. So if you're looking at your website analytics or your LinkedIn analytics or whatever the case may be, people are trying to say, show me this, like let me help me find the answer to this question, or how do I do this thing that I'm clearly telling you in my search query that I'm looking to accomplish. And I think very often we, especially as speakers, we tend to prefer to la 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 hear our own thoughts and questions. Like, I don't want to hear what the person is asking me. I want to imagine that there's a conversation that I'm leading that has nothing to do with the actual questions that are coming to my website or to my social feeds. And I think there's a balance to be struck there. And just like in real life, when we're having communication and conversation with someone else, we have to listen to what the other person is saying occasionally. We can't just talk the whole time.
Listening is very important.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So using that as a metaphor for how to use data and analytics in a way that actually shows that you have some compassion and some empathy for your audience and for the people that you're trying to serve, using that to actually create a solution that is more in line with what people are looking for from you.
Without forgetting about the foundational elements of speaking, i.e.,
Yeah.
storytelling,
Yeah.
connecting with your audience. I mean, sometimes I think these tools can cloud, they can cloud our judgment, you know,
Yeah.
and how
That's
we
true. That's a very healthy tension and a discussion that's really not unique maybe to our industry, but one that's differentiated in our industry, and one that hopefully we'll have a very rich conversation about in that discussion. I think it's a healthy tension to say, I have a unique story to tell. I have a unique perspective. My expertise is singular. I've accumulated these life experiences and these, these accomplishments, and so I can speak from that place of those aggregate stories to tell. And at the same time, what the audiences are looking for is conformed to their shape. They've got an expectation. They want to hear about something that solves their problems in their day-to-day life. So you have to find that way to blend those dynamics together. And it's the skill of being a professional speaker. And we can use these tools to do that better. And that's where I think this all comes full circle, is really kind of looking at the tools and technologies that are emerging and evolving in our space and around us all the time, and using them in ways that help us be more thoughtful, help us be, more tuned in to what people are looking for, and just help us do a better job of serving those audiences that we are privileged enough to serve.
Absolutely. Well put. So, I just wanted to ask you, how you have a book coming up, right? And a book that's dealing with
That's right.
how to harness this, or tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the book is called What Matters Next. I'm looking up at my whiteboard where I have a printout of the book cover taped up to the wall there. What Matters Next? A leader's guide to making human-friendly tech decisions in a world that's moving too fast. And that is really geared at executive leaders and business leaders who are my primary audiences. They talk to me all the time about this feeling that things are moving fast, that they feel not only the sense of that acceleration, not just that things are changing and moving fast, but also the scale of the consequence of the moment. That if you make business like digital transformation decisions right now about AI and about automation, that it feels so much more consequential to make those decisions than it ever has before. And they recognize that these are generationally affecting sort of changes. Like, these are going to have scale and consequence for generations to come. So those are the kinds of considerations we get into in my consultations and advisory work. This book unpacks that and puts into perspective, how to think about the future in ways that feel more productive and constructive than some of the ways we typically do. Often we can get ourselves into a little bit of an anxiety spin about the future, like, so much uncertainty, I don't know what to do. And so this gives some models for that. It also helps us think a little bit differently about thinking and learning in general in ways that are actually more aligned to our human nature, as well as aligned to the tools that are emerging. So, these AI tools that are helpful to us, generative AI tools, it's really a new way of interacting with those tools that can actually feed back into our natural humanistic learning cycles. So a both and sort of approach to that, and really just kind of putting in some perspective around how do we bring our most human selves to the business of making leadership decisions in this accelerated technology environment. I think some of those insights are probably going to be very relevant for our speaker friends in this discussion. So we'll definitely be pulling some of those insights into it.
Well, we're very much looking forward to that conversation. And let's not forget that we are all humans, right? And we cannot eliminate the human in this very fast moving world of technology. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing you later in the month in November. And Kate, thank you so much for joining me today. Good
Thank
luck
you,
with the
Pat.
book. And we will see you on November 14th. And to sign up for the next NSA Connecticut meeting, please go to NSA